Well, I'm getting ready to go milk the cows. You know, my distributor was so far off I couldn't have turned it and adjust it. And when I tried to rewire it, I had some wires that were pretty short, so I decided to just rip them all off and start over, because that's just how it goes sometimes, ain't it?
Hey, welcome to Rat Rodding. My name's Whalen Wire, and don't ever do what we do here on this channel.
All right, boys and girls, welcome back to Whalen Wire's Old Iron. We got another one for you. We've been working on the cooling system for the Dojalac. Kind of another milestone. Kind of clicking them off here. And, you know, it helps me because you guys get involved in it. And it gives me incentives to keep going and to keep making these little milestones. And then that kind of gets you geared up for the next one, you know. And it helps a lot. So thanks for being here. Hit that like button for me. And let's get into it. All right, what are we going to do tonight? I've got a lot of wiring to do yet. A lot of wiring. But I'm sick of wiring. And even the stuff that's wired, I still got to clean all this up and put it in wire loom. And that's going to be a chore. Look at that mess down there. Spaghetti down there. Spaghetti here, spaghetti there, and yeah, I'm just saying spaghetti in here. Still got to do all that. But I'm tired of wiring, and I think I'm going to get away from it for a little bit, yeah, at least. But what I will do first is clean up my mess here, and I'm about to switch into the dash where it goes because I'm all done with that. And I had it out there so I could put the remote starter on the switch because you can't get to the starter on this thing. So anyway, address a couple comments. One guy was giving me a hard time, teasing me about, I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, something about I might get more done if I didn't change clothes every 10 minutes. You know, that video was filmed over a period of about 2 weeks. The other comment was that I didn't have any grommets where the wires are going into the cab. And I filmed that. Okay, I've got to reroute some things. I've got to grommet this and I got to reroute this. But there was about 40 minutes at least, maybe more like an hour of footage that I had because I'd been filming for 2 weeks. And at least 40 minutes of it got cut out, edited out, and probably more than that. But I guarantee you, there is not one place where a wire or a cable goes through that cab that there's not a grommet. Guarantee. I don't know if you can see it in the last part of the video. Probably not. I don't know where the camera was, but they were there. Not in the beginning, though. Not in the shot where the guy saw that before I put them in. Anyway, I think tonight I may work on the cooling system a little bit because I got to change some things around here and well, see what we can figure out. All right, let's get busy. You know, this was just a temporary setup to see if things were going to work or not. So it's sloppy and ugly. And, I'm going to build something nice if this works out the way I want it to. But in the meantime, I just tack these on, you know. One of Whalen Wire's famous tack welds. I looked up annealing aluminum on YouTube and found a guy who shows the way he does it. He takes a black marker and puts a mark on the aluminum and then heats it until the mark is gone. And I guess that's supposed to be warm enough. I think I could have got it a little bit warmer than I did, but it worked out. At this point, I was thinking that I would put the radiator mounts in front of those uprights. So to do that, I would have to cut that top piece off that goes across from side to side. But that's going to put that radiator awfully close. It won't get much air. Well, things aren't going very well right now. All right, let's crawl out of here one more time. I knew mounting it that way was going to put the radiator too close to the front of the bed. So I decided upon a new course of action.
One eternity later.
All right, let's try that lid again and see how she fits this time. Bingo. Okay, we got a new concept here. The way I had it before, it was mounted vertically, and it was too close. It was right up against that headache rack there, which is a tailgate out of a square body Chevy. You know how to get bent? People haul stuff in and then like post or whatever, and it slides to the back and bends the tail, puts a bow in the tailgate. Well, it just fit the curve of that cab just right. So that's what I used from the back end on this thing. But this is thank you. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, I had that thing sitting vertically before, so that you can see that would only been about 4 inches, or maybe 4 or 5 inches from that front panel there. So that just didn't allow any airflow, or very little. And there's not much behind that cab anyway. It's kind of a vacuum area, you know. But this way, it can catch a lot more air. Plus, I can put a big scoop underneath there. Because let me finish that. With it at an angle like that, there's a lot more air coming in, and as far as the air going out, there's a big hole back here in that panel where the back of the Cadillac seat would have been. So there's plenty of air, or plenty of room for the air to escape. Plus down through the bottom, and well, I've got these louvers here. So it's not a problem. The exhaust air is not an issue. And I've got these louvers back here too. And I don't know if they do any good, but they sure look cool. So, yeah. I'm going to give that a shot. Plus, I'm going to try and do an auxiliary coolant cooler up front. I'm going to try and make one out of an old Subaru radiator. And I don't know if I can fit it in there, but I'm going to try. So I got to get this done. So I got to cut some angle pieces now and angle from these uprights down to the frame, because this lines up right with the frame. It's just the perfect width. As a matter of fact, these are sitting on the frame, and they got a gusset down there. Well, you know, Waylon, it ain't going nowhere. So and later on, I can make some little caps and put on that and kind of dress that out a little bit. But we're not going to SEMA. We just want to drive it, man. We want to drive the wheels off this thing. That's the idea. As long as we can afford the gas, I don't know. But that's down the road. That's, as Dee Dee Dan would say, that's a future Wayland problem. Yeah, okay. I think I'm liking that. Yeah, I think I do. And plus, you don't see the radiator. I've got it a little bit high on the left side. I got to drop it down just a hair, but if you're coming along behind this rig, driving up behind it, you won't even see the radiator. Might see a little bit of the radiator cap. That's all right. I don't mind. Do you? Shout out to my friend Webb Robes over in Bremerton, Washington. I just went out and dug in there full of snow. I got some iron. He brought me a whole truckload of it. Thank you, Webb. You're a generous man. And I'm trying to share it with people because more than I'll ever use in my lifetime. But when you need it, you need it. And right now, I need it. So thanks to Webb, I got it. I gotta dry that metal off because I need to mark it so I know where to cut it. Okay, it's a new day here in Wayland's world. And I've got that radiator mounted in there on an angle. And I could angle it some more if I had to, a little bit, without having any problems with the hoses to hook it up. But if that's okay, what I mean by okay is if it does not hit that drive shaft. Now, the next step, I think, is to pick it up on the airbags and pull the lift arms out from under it and slam this thing on the ground. I'm talking about laying frame, you know. We'll get her on down there. But I will do that a little at a time and keep checking and measuring under there and make sure that my drive shaft is clearing, because I didn't know it, but it was not clearing completely before, and you can see a little rub mark on the bottom of that radiator. Well, a pretty good rub mark actually, but it's okay. It didn't damage it to the point where it's going to leak or anything, but at some point it was sitting kind of low. So I'm going to let it down. I'm going to pick it up and get the arms out from under it and go ahead and let it down a little at a time, and I'll keep measuring and checking under there and make sure it's clear and before I slam it all the way down. And if it's not, I can still angle that up a little bit and get some more clearance. I can, yeah, I can. Okay, let's do that. Let's pick it up and take a look. Okay, we are good. Got about 2 inches of clearance. Okay, here's something for you guys. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed before, but look at the bow in that running board. See how it's bowed up in the middle under the door? Higher than it is on each end. It didn't start out life that way. At some point, I have picked this thing up maybe more than once, not paying attention, and didn't have the pad screwed out far enough on the lift arms, and it bent the running board. It hit the running board before it hit the frame. So we got to figure this out, guys. Me and you, just between me and you now, we got to figure out how to get that bow out. I've been kind of thinking about that, and thinking about setting some blocks on each end, under each end, and maybe with the bucket on my tractor, I might be able to get enough downforce to level that out some. If not, I'm gonna have to take them off and beat them out, and that's gonna be a chore. So you guys chime in, tell me what you would do about it. Let me know in the comments. All right, I'm going to start plumbing in that back radiator. I guess. I think that's the next step. So let's get busy. Oh, first I got to go crank up the tunes. Got a little wailing going today. Yeah. Lower hose plumbed in. I didn't have to do anything to it. It was pretty much in position from before, because what I had previously was this one vertically mounted and then another one in front of it. But Baden Wire was looking at it, and he kind of was thinking what I decided too, that hot air coming out of the front one was just blowing into the back one, and the back one probably wasn't helping me out that much. But anyway, I already had that one plumbed in, so I didn't have to do anything there. This one now, I know. I got to clean that wiring up and get it in a loom and all that, but you know, I'm just on a roll right now with this cooling thing. So this one I'm going to have to make some adjustments, but I can do that. Yeah, I'm going to have to use a shorter pipe and get the hose up away from that muffler down there. But that'll happen. Okay. I'll go crank the music back up because I have to turn it off every time I talk to you. Maybe I'll just listen to car talk instead.
Just woke up out of it.
I was about to butt in and point out that they had made a mistake in adding up the numbers, but just then, they got up to leave and put on their hats and coats. Hats and coats. And I realized that they had not made a mistake. Why was 14.1 a perfect...
Okay, the radiator is plumbed and the fans are wired. So let's move on to the front end. All right, I pulled the arms out again. I'm gonna set it on the ground and get under there and measure and see if I have room for that radiator right there. Well, that radiator is not gonna fit under there. When this thing's on the ground, I mean it is on the ground. It's slammed. Now, I could limit how far down that goes, but I really don't want to, you know. I could put some blocks on there so that it wouldn't go down. Give me another inch. And I could slide this under there, but it would still be laying flat like that. And it's not going to pick up much wind, not going to pick up any wind that way from driving down the road. And like I said, I don't have issues sitting at a stoplight. I have issues coming up this mountain. This 10.5% grade. So I think what I'm going to do next is maybe go get that nose that I'm going to use and start cutting that center piece out that I need and see if I have any room at all inside that thing for a little radiator. I'm talking ATV radiator, Shadowholic. I was texting him earlier and he said, yeah, maybe you go or you know, ATV, something like that. And I can get an ATV Polaris radiator for $48 and free shipping. And I can get one for a little more than that with a fan, but I've got lots of fans around here. I don't think I need to buy a fan. Oh, and another thing I wanted to mention too, there was a comment, one of the comments. Guys, I don't always answer the comments, but I read them and I appreciate them. You guys and your thoughts and everything, suggestions. And one comment was telling me that this hose needs to be there. I mean, I understand that's how they're set up. And he said it's to get the air out. And I wasn't too concerned about that because I have this thing. I just, I didn't have any bolts. I couldn't find the bolts for this. I've got this thing, and this is to bleed the air out of it, out of the system. Yeah, because that's the highest point right there. And I don't know if an air bubble could get trapped in here. Well, not if I'm using that, I don't think. If that's circulating, then it should be okay. The bubble should come to the top, right? Unless, I don't know, could an air bubble get caught in that hose if it loops over here? I don't know. To the gentleman who made that comment, maybe you have some thoughts on that. Somebody else was saying, oh, well, no, the same guy was saying I could run from top of the radiator, but I don't think he realized that my radiator's behind the cab. So that'd be I don't know. I think the next move is to go get that other nose out there and bring it in here and start tearing it apart, because we're going to need to do that anyway. Hello, Joshua. How are you this evening? It's nice of you to join us. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking out loud here. I might just go back and look at the videos, some of the videos when I was building this thing. By the way, this whole build is on YouTube, the entire thing, under one of my playlists called Let's Build a Rat Rod. And it's kind of fun even for me to go back and look at that stuff and see what I started with and how far it's come, and now how far it's gone backwards, how far it's coming again. Oh, man. But, yeah, I'll be able to tell. If I bring that nose in here, I think I'll be able to tell. But it's possible that I could fit a little motorcycle radiator or ATV radiator inside that nose, that grill. And ideally, that's what I want. I want it to catch the wind, because I need that. And another thing that's going to help me, we're talking about putting that radiator at an angle on the back and then running an auxiliary cooler up here, plus taking that water pump off there, so there's no, that's no pull on the engine anymore. That's going to help. And hopefully, with this combination of things, maybe that'll cure the overheating issue. And it's not horrible, but it's not what I want. I want it to run 190, uphill and down. I may not get what I want, but I'm going to try. I'm just going to keep shooting. My dad said that's how little shot gets to be a big shot. He just keeps shooting. So, shoot. I guess I'll go get that nose. Yeah, I'll bring it in here and set it up alongside this one, and just see if there's any room in it at all. I kind of want to know, don't you? Don't you guys want to know? Let's just do it. I mean, it's cold out there and dark. It's 7 o'clock, and I've been working on this thing all day and had to go to town twice, and I'm wore out. And I went and had some supper and almost fell asleep while I was eating. So, been up since about 4 this morning, but I'm going to keep going for a while. It's early. It's early yet. Okay, enough yakking. Let's go get the tractor. Brr, it's cold out there. I'm going to get my big coat on, I think. Other thing I did not get done is fix the lights on that tractor. It just never ends, does it? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Creating this content is a lot of work. It takes a lot of hours when you have to stop and set the camera up all the time. Set it and reset it and set it again over and over and over. You'll see in these videos, if you pay attention, how many times the shots at a different angle or whatever, especially when I'm working underneath that truck or whatever, trying to get things set up so you guys can see it. And, you know, my hat's off to those guys, those big boys that are got big channels, you know, especially D.D. Dan. Boy, he cranks them out just one after another. Good grief. And works full-time job too, you know, and I don't know how he does. Yeah, I know how he does it. He ain't 72 years old. But, you know, he's got Queen Glitter Chaos on the camera, and Mr. Heavy Chevy's got Mrs. Heavy Chevy sometimes, and Bad Chad's got Queen Jolene, and I got Bernice.
Well, gloom, despair, and agony on me.
And she's worthless. So, just the cards I drew, I guess. Well, you know, there's not going to be much room in there. No, sir. When you look across here, that nose is pretty flat. There's not much sticking out there. And where it is sticking out, that pipe comes up. But I could reroute that pipe if that made the difference. If that made the difference, I would move this pipe in here and set a little radiator in here. I'll get you guys a frame. Let me start over. I'll move this pipe over to the inside and bring it up over here. And then that might make room for a little radiator set in there. I kind of think it will. But I gotta tear this thing apart. I gotta go get that other nose that I took off and bring it in here and see exactly where I cut this. I think right across there. I think it's still, oh no, it comes apart right there. I kept that part, that's right. And then I sectioned that other one, took about 3 bars out of it. I don't know, I'll bring it in here and look at it. But that's not gonna matter. That radiator's gonna go down there. Whatever I wind up putting in there. I just wonder, nah, there ain't room for that Subaru radiator in there. No way. Chevaholic thought maybe one off a Yugo, and he might be right. I'll have to look at the dimensions. But look at this, that's cool, isn't it? Got a little pinstripe on there, 2 of them. One here and then one up above, there and there. I don't know if you can see that. That's just cool. Alright. I guess I'll start ripping this thing apart. Alright guys, I think that's where I'm going to leave this one. You know, if I go too long, it takes way too long to edit. I spent all day long last Saturday, I think it was, yeah, editing, because I'd been filming off and on for a couple of weeks, and you just pile up way more footage than you think you have, and so then you got to watch sometimes 40 minutes or 30 minutes maybe, and you might only glean 3 or 4 minutes out of that, but you got to go through it all and get everything in order, and it's, I mean, it's my hobby. I'm not complaining about doing it, but I'm just, note to self, don't go so long before you edit. It just makes it too difficult. And like I said, it is a lot of work, and you know, I've never asked you for any money, but what I would ask you to do, you know, if this video gets 7,000 hits, or at least the last one, 7,000 hits, and only about 1,000 people hit that like button, and if you'd hit that thumbs up for me, boy, that would help me out a lot, because what that does is cause algae rhythms to share the video with people and present it or suggest it in your little suggestion line over there. And if my video gets in that, then that helps me out quite a bit. So I sure would appreciate that, guys. And I want to thank you once again for stopping by the old shop here at Whaley Wire's Old Iron, where nightmares come true. And we'll see you again real soon right here. Happy Thanksgiving. I sure do appreciate you.